So welcome everyone to SCORE Central Jersey's webinar about thinking about starting a business. My name is Jane Meyer and I'm a SCORE mentor with the Central Jersey chapter. And I'm just going to host the webinar today and introduce our speakers. We have a full agenda. Most of the focus on today's workshop is going to be about the tools that are available to help you answer questions about should you start a business or how do you start a business? What are the steps in doing that? And our speakers are going to take you through that process and give you lots of good stuff. I'm going to introduce our speakers today, both of whom are experienced mentors with our Central Jersey chapter, Ray Henson and Nancy Verdun. Their emails are here as well as in their speaker boxes. So it's just their name at scorevolunteer.org. Ray is a very experienced in business. He has over 30 years of experience. He works in business development, market research, human resources. He's worked for Fortune 500. He has his own small business. And he's a whole package. He's a licensed psychologist, an executive coach, he's an author, and he does do classes in management at Rutgers Business School. Ray is very qualified and an excellent mentor for our chapter. Nancy Verdun also has a long background in business in the corporate sector, primarily in the insurance industry, but she has worked across all aspects of business, strategy, organization, planning, and has worked with nonprofits as well. So Nancy is an excellent mentor and helps a lot of clients get started and helping with strategies in business planning and so forth. Both of these folks are well qualified to present today and are also available for mentoring. So with that done, Nancy, would you like to kick off our workshop today?
Yes, let me get my screen sharing. All right, is everybody seeing the starting page, thinking about starting a business?
Yes, we are.
So since you're attending this webinar, I expect many, if not all of you, are or have been thinking about starting your own business. So you may have a great idea that you think can be built into a successful business, but the steps from idea to actually starting the business can appear daunting. We suggest that you review and answer the questions that we're going to go into in more detail during this presentation, but we ask you to answer them before you take steps to form a business. You'll learn a lot about yourself, your idea, and you'll be able to determine if you should proceed, need more guidance, or potentially drop the idea. I think you'll find that reaching out to SCORE and getting a mentor during this phase is also going to be very valuable. So what are those questions? Let me find the button. Okay, 6 questions that we're suggesting you address. The first one is about you. Are you an entrepreneur? Do you have what it takes to succeed? And we'll show you some resources to delve into that question. Can I describe my idea or business with enough detail that others will understand it? What makes my idea unique? What need does it fill? Who are my competitors? How will I differentiate my business from theirs? Who are my customers? Understand what is important to them? And what resources will I need? Financial, legal, possibly personnel and staffing, psychological and mental. Are there others? We're going to explore each of these in a little bit more detail. So am I an entrepreneur? Do I have what it takes to succeed? Answer this question. The first thing that I would suggest is understanding if you have the education or work experience in the chosen industry. And if not, then you gain that knowledge. Having a background in the field you're entering can be extremely helpful, especially if the skills need to be required over time. Someone with experience in technology will potentially fare better opening a tech business than someone with no tech skills. Some businesses may not require direct experience in the industry, such as home care services, but instead reflects on someone's business, marketing, or organizational skills. Or you could have a long-held passion that is driving you to open this type of business. Some may think it's easier to work for themselves, and it may provide more balance in their lives, but starting up your own business is hard and it'll take a lot of work and a lot of time. One of the resources that we suggest is looking at SCORE's roadmap, specifically chapter 2. I'm hoping these will open as we sit here. And quickly, I'm hoping. If not, we won't necessarily open each one of the resources. But the roadmap to success, or roadmap to starting a business, includes many modules. And you can see them listed here. Specifically, we're going to be looking at some of the resources in module 2 and a couple in module 3. Once you've gone through the 6 questions, and if you decide that you're going to move forward, all of these will be beneficial to you. So this is an ongoing resource that you can use throughout the whole process. But in module 1, there are a couple of resources or tools that you can use that you can go through and assess your own perspective, whether you are ready to be an entrepreneur. So this one is set up in a point system. Or are you a self-starter? Yes, it comes easily, 5 points. If someone helps me get started, 3 points. If I'd rather follow, 1 point. And going through the whole assessment, there's 20 questions. There is a key at the end that says, well, if you have these amount of points, if you have this and this. So it's a nice tool to go through some of the questions you should be asking yourself if this is for you. A second is a skills assessment. This is also in the roadmap, a little bit more free form in the beginning, and then goes through some of the skills, assessing your skill level and whether it matches what the business needs. So you can assess your skill level in the beginning, and after you've gone through the 6 questions, you can go back and assess whether it's the level that the business needs. So a couple of resources that can help you determine whether you are in fact ready to be an entrepreneur. And I thought this article was also helpful from Entrepreneur. You can go in, read what they have to say. There's some links for some other things, but it's a good resource to take a look and say, you know, I'm ready to start my business. Another resource is Simple Steps to Starting a Business, and it lists a number of key resources and conditions that will be helpful in starting a business. Well, let's look what 6 simple steps said. Strong work ethic, effective time management, ability to multitask, management skills, willingness to ask for help and advice from others, big one, self-motivated, resourceful, responsible, organized, persistent, decisive, good health, and a solid support system are what this resource, and again, it will open up into an entire booklet that has a guide that has more details in it. So this guide is also something that you can use throughout the whole process that will give you some good information. All right, I have a bar that's barring me here. Okay. So are you going to have all of those skills? No, not everybody certainly is going to be good in each one of those items. And it's not an exhaustive list. There are others as well. But you should be aware of why they're important and take a good self-assessment as to what your skills are. And having a good solid support system, such as your friends and family, or a trusted professional like a SCORE mentor, can help give you some honest answers. Do you think you can be proficient in all of these areas? The answer to that is a resounding no. You can't be good at everything. And even if you are really proficient and you think you're great at all those skills that we listed and even more, you're not going to have the time to be able to do it all yourself. So I'd like to take a quick poll And I'm going to launch the poll. And I'd like everybody to pick the top 2 skills or characteristics that they think are the most important for an entrepreneur. No right or wrong answer, guys. We're just looking at what you think. I know which 2 I would pick, but go ahead and put in your picks. All right, let's see what the answer is. Share the results. Are you seeing the results?
Yes.
We have 50% saying self-motivated and resourceful, and 50% strong work ethic, 50% effective time management. So there's a lot of people with some of the same concepts. And for me, I actually picked strong work ethic, and I also went to good health. For most people, it's stressful to start a business. You work hard and it'll require a lot of focus. And if you're not in good health, now may not be the time to start a business and move forward. To overcome a skill that you have that is of lesser importance or may not be your strength, you can overcome it by selecting some good help. Not everybody's going to have the time or interest in managing the expenses, so you can hire a bookkeeper. Or if you need somebody to help with scheduling and other routine activities, you can hire a part-time office manager. So there are ways to overcome when you are not comfortable with that skill or you don't have the time. So it's important to assess what's most important for you, focus on what will give you the best benefit, delegate where appropriate, look at the priority of the work that needs to be done, and see if there's areas that you can gain some expertise via some education, some webinars from SCORE, or reach out to a SCORE mentor. The second question is, how can I describe my business idea? So when we talk about a description, it summarizes what your business does, its purpose, and what makes it unique. At first glance, this may seem easy, but I find when we have our first mentoring session, sometimes it can be difficult for somebody to describe their business with enough detail that we can actually understand it. The first step in researching your idea and to planning is to describe it. And you'd want to be able to describe it for researching the competition, to identify your clients, to getting others to understand your idea, whether it's friends and family that you're going to ask for assistance, if it's a legal counsel, if it's a mentor. It's the first step to secure funding. Will you get it right the first time? No. What I would expect and what we experience is somebody will describe their business, but as you go through the next questions in the 6 questions, as well as move forward with their business, you'll find that your description will change. So as your business idea matures, you'll be changing your description to follow along. So where do you start? Pen and paper. You know, just start writing the features and characteristics that would seem important to your business. We think one of the best ways, well, I'm skipping a slide, so let me say this first. Again, a couple of resources. There's a blog that I found that I thought was good that indicates what should be included in your business description. In this case, they're saying 1 sentence. It doesn't have to be 1, but it should be cut short. In both these articles, it's talking about, can you describe your business? What do you sell, or what service are you offering? Who do you sell it to? And why does it solve a problem for your customers? So one of the best ways to, I think, bring this home is to really do a couple of examples. So I am going to do another poll. So this is a description. My photography business will provide photography services to wedding couples so that they can remember their special day forever. Simple yes or no. Is this complete and compelling as a business description? Again, no right or wrong. All right. So we ended up with 57% yes and 43% no. How could the description be improved? I'm going to suggest by adding just 1 phrase, this description can be even more impactful. My photography business will provide one-day edit photography services to wedding couples so that they remember their special day forever. My wedding was a number of years ago, but I can tell you, I remember how long it took to get those photos back. And I think today it can still be weeks, if not months, to see those proofs. So if somebody was, again, all quality being equal between one photographer and another, but if they were going to be offering one-day edit, that would be compelling to me. A second example, let's go ahead and do a second poll. Same concept. Is this complete and compelling? Family-owned plumbing, heating, and air conditioning to be located in Somerset County, offering HVAC repairs and installations. Do you think that's complete and compelling? I think you can see that they may be, both of these cases, they were factual statements. Whoop, it keeps popping up. They were factual statements, but were they compelling? Because you want to be your description, whether it's on your website, your marketing, or how you speak about your business, you want to be compelling so that people are going to go ahead and pick you when they're picking services. So this is another one, much longer than one sentence, but still not too long. Family-owned plumbing, heating, and air conditioning to be located in Somerset County, providing HVAC repairs and installation. We're dedicated to your happiness. That means we will arrive on time and investigate before diving blindly into the situation. We get it right the first time. Regardless of the size or complexity, your satisfaction is most important to us. You can trust us to give your family the same attention we give to ours. So I'm putting the emphasis on it, right? But when I read it, I take the concept that it's a family-owned business and it follows it through all the way through the description. So with family, you're dedicated to the happiness. It's customer service. We're going to arrive on time. If you have any plumbers or any other service people come, having people answer your call, having them arrive on time, having them assess the situation and get it right the first time is something that I would find compelling. So these are two examples of taking a basic description and adding in what is unique or compelling about your business. So the question of what makes my idea unique, what need does my idea fill? If you look, it's basically the definition of unique selling proposition or unique business or service. So you want to ask yourself, what do you do that no one else does? Why does your existing customers, now in this case you don't have them, but why would customers choose you over the competition? What is it that you want to specialize in? Or I think everybody's probably heard of the 80-20 rule. If you could only offer 20% of the services, what would you offer? Those should be the ones that are going to provide you 80% of the benefit. So simply by adding this component to the prior slide, they made the description more compelling. Adding it to the description isn't really the issue, right? It's identifying what makes you unique. Now, you know, when you go into it, you may have some idea what already makes you unique, and that's why you're starting it. Fabulous. But everybody should be going in and checking the business descriptions of their competitors, look at their website, look at social media. If you're local, go in, take a look at their shop and see what they're doing. Read the reviews, right? If there are reviews that are positive, that's what customers are looking for. If there are reviews that are less than positive, those might be some areas that you can focus on. There's an article in the references as to what is a unique value proposition and how to find it. Some of the same material, but again, I think it'll be helpful. And one example that I pulled from it that I thought was compelling was Airbnb exists to create a world where anyone can belong anywhere, providing healthy travel that is local, authentic, diverse, inclusive, and sustainable, right? That is a compelling description. All right, Ray, I'm going to give it to you.
Thanks, Nancy. Let me go share my screen now. Okay. All right, great. So you heard Nancy answer the first three questions if you're thinking of starting a business, and also provided a lot of tools and resources and links that, as she pointed out earlier, will provide you at the end of this session so that you can, on your own time, go to those links and go to those resources and go to those tools. So what I'm going to do in the other half of this webinar is answer the last 3 questions that Nancy posed earlier. And if there's only one thing you remember from these next 3 questions, actually, in fact, for all 6 questions, it is this: be sure you plan, and then plan some more. So how do you plan? You do it by doing a deep dive on these 3 things. Know the competition, know the customer, and as important, know yourself and what you'll need. So let's continue with answering the next 3 questions. And as I go through these questions, I'm going to give you 2 examples from actual clients that myself and other SCORE mentors have worked with. I've disguised some of the specifics. One is a laundromat business, and our entrepreneur is Maya, not her real name. So Maya wants to buy an existing laundromat business in the town where she lives. She thinks it's a good opportunity. The owner wants to retire and is moving to Florida. She's in her 30s, has a full-time job, Maya, that is, but is ready to dedicate herself to the business. This has been her dream for a long time. She's bilingual, a Latina in a diverse community where the laundromat is located. Our other entrepreneur is Monica. Again, not her real name, okay? Monica grew up in a household where her mother baked all the time. She has a passion for cooking and baking and even took some courses at the Culinary Institute of America. She's a stay-at-home mom, lives in suburban New Jersey, but has always dreamed about having her own business. She's really into baking breads and loves to use gluten-free and organic ingredients and wants to start a baked goods business, maybe starting with breads. So, question number 4. Who are my competitors and how will I differentiate my business from theirs? So let's start with finding out how you can figure out who your competitors are. Nancy talked about this earlier, so this will build on what she's already covered. And as you all know, all businesses face competition. Did you ever think you had such a good business idea, and then when you started Googling it, you see that others have already thought of it? Okay, so what can you do? 2 things. First, do some market research, okay, in trying to understand your competition. Now, I put this in quotes because I'm not suggesting you do anything formal or spend a lot of time or money on this. But like we said, you have to know whom you are competing against. This is true whether you're an entrepreneur, a small business, a large corporation, a nonprofit, or a sports team. Sports coaches, for example, always scout the competition. Okay, so how do you do that? So Sun Tzu, many, many years ago, said that know your enemy and know yourself, and you need not worry about the outcome of 100 battles. So these are some tools that we suggest you use for figuring out and doing your market research. Let's take Maya, our entrepreneur who wants to buy a laundromat. One direct competitor is other laundromats. What products and services are they offering in addition to washing machines and dryers? Do they have wash, fold, dry services? Do they have delivery service? Where are they located? How far away are they from the laundromat she plans to buy? If they are coin operated, is Maya's laundromat competitive? How do they advertise? In grocery stores, maybe with big signs? Do they have a Google business profile? So here's a tip for your business idea. List the top 3 services you plan to offer or products you want to sell, and do a Google search for each of them and make sure you add your state. For example, Nancy talked about an company that's offering HVAC services. Google HVAC services New Jersey, and you will see a lot of firms that show up. Those are your potential competitors. And then you can find out more about each of them. In addition to Maya's direct competitors, she's also got what I would call indirect competitors. And you have to pay attention to those competitors as well. So what are indirect competitors? Maya's indirect competitors could also be apartment buildings with washing machines in each floor or in the basement, or they could be homeowners who have their own washing machines. This is her indirect competition. So you need to think about both. As part of her research, we told Maya to go and do a few loads of laundry in her competitors' laundromats. Spend some time inside their laundromats and just observe what's going on. Who are the people coming in? What the feel of the place is? How are the employees there interacting with the customers? Remember that old Yogi Berra saying, you can observe a lot by just watching. We recommended she read the Google and Yelp reviews, as Nancy had mentioned earlier, and check out the social media presence of her competitors. One other thing, and this is covered in the tool competitive comparison worksheet, and we have a link to that. One other thing that Maya needs to consider are the trends in the industry. And that's something that you will want to consider too, if you're thinking about the business idea. So what are the trends among the consumers you want to target? For example, there are more energy efficient machines now in the market, and more laundromats are offering pickup and drop-off services, as well as wash and fold services. More laundromats are now offering free Wi-Fi and even chargers for phones. So there might be something in these trends that will help her differentiate her business. So go to the competitive comparison worksheet. Great tool for looking at how you can compare different potential competitors. If you're like Maya, who is interested in buying a business, SCORE has another great tool, some questions you'll want to answer about an existing business you're interested in buying. Okay, it's a great checklist to make sure that you have covered all the bases. And finally, in terms of market research, I cannot highly recommend enough a tool called Data Axle Reference Solutions. It's an amazing database for finding businesses and consumers all across the country, and you can filter by city, town, industry, sales volume, etc. It's very easy. It's free if you access it through your library, but you need to have a library card. By the way, most libraries are business librarians, and if you haven't been to your local library in a while, stop by next time and talk to your librarian about the business resources that they have. For Monica, remember our baked goods entrepreneur, we suggested she go to local bakeries and sample some products. Take a look and find out what seems popular. Local bakeries might be her direct competition, but her indirect competition also includes homes and apartments where people might like to do their own baking. There's also farmers markets, by the way. As for trends, there definitely is a trend towards gluten-free and organic baked products. So I took these photos recently at a farmer's market in New York City. Here's a small business owner selling bread. Going to these farmers markets could give Monica some good ideas on where to sell and what breads seem to be selling well. Look at these products. Look at these breads. Chardonnay Mish, Cabernet Rustica. Sounds good. Anyway, okay. So the question you need to ask as Nancy had said earlier, is why would someone go to you instead of to your competitors? As Nancy has mentioned, what's your unique selling proposition? So here's a checklist of 6 ways that you can differentiate your business in order to, kind of think about what's unique about what you're going to be offering. So look at this as a checklist and say, okay, can I differentiate my business by the products that I'm selling? For example, are there unique features in the product that you're selling? Can I differentiate my business by price? Okay, if you're offering a lower or higher price, for what? Can I differentiate my business by the service that I'm providing? Can I differentiate my business by the channel or distribution? For example, will Monica be able to sell her product at local grocery stores? Can I differentiate my product or service through my relationships, adding a personal touch, focusing on customer service? Can I differentiate my service or my business by reputation through the testimonials that I'll be getting, or some combination of these? So you have to figure out what makes you truly unique by going through this checklist and coming up with a right unique selling proposition. Second way in which to understand the competition is to do a SWOT analysis. Most of you have probably heard this of a SWOT analysis. It stands for strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. It's a great way to examine, to take a hard look at the strengths and weaknesses of your business idea and the opportunities and threats in your business idea. We did this for Maya. Okay. And what we actually did is I did one independently and she did one independently, and then we put our heads together. And as you can see, looking at the laundromat that she wants to buy, there definitely are some strengths, but there are also some weaknesses, and there are some threats, but also some opportunities. Okay, so that's question number 4 in terms of who is your competition. Question number 5 is, who are my customers and what's important to them? You want to make sure that you are delivering what your customer wants, not what you want. And so before you get too far ahead with this, you'll want to figure out, how big is my potential target market? We've talked to clients who think that they can sell to everyone by going online, for example. No, if you're just starting out, that's just not going to work. You need to really narrow your target market and find your niche, at least initially. And to answer this question, SCORE has a couple of tools to help you. One is a target market comparison worksheet that helps you identify which target customer will best benefit from your business idea. So you want to focus in and narrow in on a specific customer target. Okay. The second tool that we have, SCORE has, is something called an ideal customer profile. Don't be turned off by the acronym ICP. Basically, what this asks you to do is put together, when you're thinking about your target audience or target customer, try to visualize that person. What does he or she look like? Demographically, age, income level, etc. So I'm going to give you an example of something that we worked on for Maya. Okay, so I'm not going to read this in detail, but you can see that Maya was very clear at the end of the day as to who she wanted to go after and what her ideal customer profile looked like. And based on this, okay, she was able to identify what would be most important to the customer that she wants to target. Okay, so let's do a little polling. And I want to ask you, if you can, think about what's most important do you think to potential customers of a laundromat. Okay, and if you can pick 3, we'll do a quick poll and let's see what we come up with. Okay, good. So you can see that, yeah, so it looks like opening and closing hours, 100%, followed by proximity and location at 88%. And then it drops off after that. Great, thank you so much. Okay, so here's what Maya decided, okay, based on the features that she wants to highlight in her laundromat, based on her profile, and it aligns pretty much with what everyone has been picking here. So what she's decided is that proximity and location are the most important things for the customers in this laundromat. So she wants to make sure she advertises in social media how convenient the location is. The second most important thing, if you recall in the ideal customer profile, it's someone who is very involved in the community, wants to feel comfortable. So she's focusing on the friendliness of the staff and customer service. And as important, she's going to focus on opening and closing hours as another important feature. She's decided that she's going to be opening at 6 a.m. and closing at 10 p.m., except for Saturdays and Sundays. Now, Maya is not only thinking about her ideal customer, but how do you expand your customer base in the future? Okay, so she's also thinking about, since the laundromat has a parking lot, she's thinking about how she can attract customers who drive, perhaps by offering dry cleaning and drop-off services. What she won't do at the moment is to raise prices or switch to a card option or replace her machines, at least not in the short term. You just can't tackle the whole world. She's got to narrow on what's most important to your customers. Okay, thank you. So let me close this poll. And again, it all depends on your target audience as to what's most important. Okay, so I go back to the basic question that Nancy posed earlier. What problems or needs do my target customers have that I can help them solve? And to do that, you have to put yourself in the mind of the customer and walk in their shoes. Nancy mentioned Airbnb earlier as an example of a great, kind of unique selling proposition statement. When Brian Chesky, who founded Airbnb, started out, and it was started out as a small business, he actually became a customer. He went to different Airbnbs and tried to figure out what it was like to be a customer. So that's one thing, again, that you want to think about in your business idea. Put yourself in the customer's shoes. Okay, so question number 6 is around what resources you will need. And I put this into 4 buckets: financial, legal, psychological and mental, and other. Financial, of course, you will need to think about money, doesn't everybody? Starting a business requires money that you likely won't have right away. And most entrepreneurs, most small business owners we talk to, have a very limited amount of capital. However, there are plenty of options available. The first and most common place, of course, is to seek capital with friends and family. Then there are banks, other financial institutions, credit unions, and online lenders. But it's important that you assess your financial situation. And here's a tool, again, in SCORE, that helps you figure this out. It's basically a spreadsheet, but it's very easy to do. It has all the buckets that you need and that you and your lenders will want to know. The Small Business Administration also has a great site. And when you are ready, contact them. But SCORE can help you and can help you prep for that call before you even start talking to the SBA. Business and online lenders want to know you'll be able to repay the loan, that you have some skin in the game. So make sure you have at least 2 years worth of tax returns, check your credit rating, and remember the 5 C's of credit: character, capacity, capital, collateral, and conditions. Capacity is your debt to income ratio. Character is your credit history. Capital is the amount of money that you have. Collateral, you know what that is. And conditions are the purpose of the loan and the amount involved. Legal, how will you structure your business? Okay. SCORE does not give legal advice, but we certainly encourage you to at least talk to your accountant or maybe a lawyer. Don't just go into LegalZoom. You've got to put some thought into this, especially around deciding whether you're going to be an LLC, sole proprietorship, et cetera, and around the kind of liability insurance that you will need. Again, the small business development centers will be able to help you, perhaps even connect you with attorneys who may give you some pro bono advice. Remember that with baked goods, going back to my example of Monica, there are cottage food laws that vary by state, and Monica will need a license. She'll need to make sure her labeling and packaging are okay legally, and she'll need an attorney to help her navigate this. And the same thing with Maya's Laundromat. And finally, psychological and mental. Nancy mentioned some of the characteristics of successful entrepreneurs. Sure, it's important to have that inner drive, but you also need a support system, as Nancy mentioned. Even successful entrepreneurs like Bill Gates, Steve Jobs had a lot of help. They had a family who supported them and close friends who advised them. Create your own team of advisors, including a SCORE mentor. There's a recent study that showed that 62% of small business owners feel depressed at least once a week. So pace yourself so you don't burn out. Here's a great link for some really good advice on keeping yourself sane. And remember that while it can be hard work, being an entrepreneur is a lot of fun. It is very fulfilling. So there are other considerations like hiring staff, physical space, suppliers and vendors. If you're going to be hiring staff, for example, you have to make sure that you hire not just for aptitude, but also for attitude. So at this point, Maya is gathering the financials from the seller and working up a letter of intent with an attorney. Monica has decided to go sell her goods first at farmers markets. She's still working on where she'd like to sell. She's also working with a legal attorney to better understand the legal requirements for selling food in New Jersey. And she's got her kids and husband helping her in her family business. All right, so I'm going to turn it back to Nancy, who will kind of wrap up with next steps.
All right, I am going to scroll forward. All right, I'm going to take it out. Oh, all right, it's going. I apologize. I need to get to the last slide. We only have a couple more. So now that you've gone through the 6 questions and you've come up with some answers to them, it's important that you find a place to capture it all. And we talked about the roadmap before. Chapter 3 has a business concept feasibility assessment. That tool will help you capture the information that you got through going through those 6 questions. And the simple steps to starting a business, the other resource we prior looked at, also has the same spreadsheet. The other is everything that we've talked about here, from the description to the competition, to the customers, their channel, financials, they're all the part of your business planning. And a business plan, if you look at the robust version, can be daunting. What we'd be suggesting is capture what you've already gotten through those questions. You can either put it in what's called a business model canvas. So it's a lean version, and there is a link here as a sample and how to fill it out. But most of the information that we've covered in these 6 questions are the beginning phases of putting your plan together. And then you're going to want to assess it, right? Assess everything that you've gone through in the 6 questions. Is it a go? Is it a no-go? Or is it a maybe? Well, you want to look at and answer the question for yourself. What does success look like? You've answered the questions. Is it going to get me what I'm looking for? There's a roadmap. Chapter 2 has the why workshop. Why do I want to do this? Why do I want to be an entrepreneur? Will this business match your core values? Will this business provide the financial outcome you need? These assessments, while the business may be a go from a standpoint, it makes sense, it may not be a go for you personally from the standpoint of where you are and what you're expecting from the business. So the last step is putting all of what you've learned together and then assessing whether it's a smart thing to do. And we've said it, we're volunteers, so we don't get anything by having you come to SCORE and looking for a mentor. We just want to help and be one of those individuals that are in your support system that can help you determine how or why to move forward. So whether you're a go, you're not sure about moving forward, even a no, you might want to reach out and get a SCORE mentor and talk it through. Having more people who have varying opinions and experiences can be extremely helpful. Then, as mentioned, the resource listing is here. Now, some of the resources in roadmap and simple steps I put in my slides so that I could bring them up. They are not links here because they're on my personal drive. So you have to go into the roadmap or the simple steps to be able to get those. So we have all of the resources that we talked about are here in these last 2 pages. And that is the end of our presentation.
I think this was so excellent, Nancy and Ray. It covers so much, but it covers so many things that are so important for the ultimate success of a business. I always tell my clients, the more time you spend planning, the less you will spend in time and money going forward down the road, the more success you'll have.
Jane, I just wanted to acknowledge a comment that Cheryl made about gluten-free bakeries failing to use clean ingredients.
Right.
Absolutely a very great, good point that she makes. And that's why it's so important to reinforce the planning part and make sure that you cover everything that's important to customers, because certainly having clean ingredients is so important for customers of bakeries.
Yeah, and going back to the trends, what are the trends in
Absolutely.
the industry that you're looking at?
Yep.
And what is the need? Again, if I was in sales at some point in my career, and the whole mantra with sales was, is there a need? You can't sell to someone if they don't have a need for the service.
Mhm.
So going back to the kind of the early part, what is the need, and are you offering that? If there are 50 bakeries in your neighborhood and everybody is offering the same products and the same services, what's the need for number 51, you know? So good points to cover. And Cheryl had another comment. She says that the company Inc. authority is a big help. They do everything providing for free registered agent for a year. I lost it. I'm sorry.
Provide you with a website domain, provide all the services needed to establish your business. Yes.
Great.
I'm not familiar with that particular firm, but there's several that do that. And that's certainly something that small business owners can figure out, because there's a lot to navigate.
Right. The other really good resource, and maybe we should add it at the end too, is the New Jersey Business Action Center, which would be business.nj.gov. Business, I'm going to type that in here, but business.nj.gov. that's a government agent. It comes out of the state of New Jersey, but they have all of the resources that you need to start a business, including what they call a navigator, but it's an online business plan that walks you through all the steps like Nancy and Ray have talked about already. And the nice thing about the navigator is that when you run into something that requires something from the state, a certification, a license, regulations, they link directly to that state resource. So that's another business plan resource for you. Also, if you're working in a business and you have questions about what the state requires or how to do something, registering or whatever at the state level, you can go to that website and get the answers to your questions. So it's an excellent resource as well. I think that's it. I think that wraps it up. This is great. I'm ready to go start my business.
I'm ready to go get some bread after.
Yeah, right. That Chardonnay one looked good.
Yeah. All right, everybody. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. And we look
Have a
forward
good
to
holiday.
seeing you again at another webinar by SCORE Central Jersey. Have a great day, everyone.